So Reiki is a very gentle healing art where usually your client is in a cozy place with, quiet and privacy. And when we do Reiki, our hands are either gently on the body or hovering off the body, depending on what your client needs. And we do cover a lot of the major areas of the body to restore flow and balance, including the head, the heart, the feet. And Reiki really helps to bring back homeostasis into the body so that we can restore complete flow and energy alignment.
Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Laura Williamson and you are with me right now at Bear Fitness. It's great to see you again. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today's show is going to be extraordinary. We have a very, very, very special guest who I am going to introduce. And actually, Grace, I'm just gonna have you do it. Okay. Grace, introduce yourself. Welcome. Today's show, I didn't say that though. Today's show is about Reiki. Like, what is this Reiki? What's this about? What's going on with this? So I'm just rapid fire here. I'm just going straight in. Please introduce yourself to us, Grace.
Thank you.
And let's just get into it. Let's do it.
Sounds great. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Laura, so much for having me on this show. And hi to everyone out there. So grateful to be here. So my name is Grace Harrington Murdoch, and I'm a Reiki master teacher as well as an astrologer and author. And one of my really big passions is to try to help people come out of the spiritual closet and also the creative closet as well. So those are two populations that I love to serve, and Reiki is a big part of that journey for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with the basic question. What is Reiki?
Yeah. So Reiki is a energetic healing modality that was developed in Japan by a guy named Dr. Mikao Usui. And he basically wanted to find a way to help people heal different issues in their body, their mind, and their spirit. And so he went on a big journey to try to figure this out, and it coalesced in a 21-day, basically like a meditation cleanse on Mount Kuriyama in Japan, where he really understood how to give Reiki by the time he was done with that 21 days. And so it's a hands-on healing modality that really helps people come back into balance and wholeness. And also recharges your cells and your body and your mind. So it's great for a lot of different things. Yeah.
Okay, so then Reiki isn't fairly new. Even though I think people are starting to hear more about it now, it isn't a new modality.
No, it's been around for, about 100 years, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you get started doing this?
Yeah, so I got started doing Reiki. Well, prior to that, I was learning other energy modalities for a while. And I was introduced to it by a woman who I was nannying for who had brain cancer. And she was doing alternative medicine treatment alongside of Western medical treatment. And so she got me my first energy work session in my early 20s. And it sort of opened up my mind, and I felt so much more clear and better in my body. And so I decided to then go study that type of energy work, which was called Jinshin Jyutsu. And then from there, I started just kind of down a whole path of energy work studies. I did polarity therapy training and a whole bunch of other stuff. And Reiki was kept knocking on my door in my intuition. And I said, I think I really need to study this. And so my practitioner at the time was teaching a class in 2014, and that's when I got started. And I decided to do the whole journey with her with Reiki. So, yeah.
Okay, so all right, so you've given us an idea of what Reiki is, how you got started. So a lot of people don't understand Reiki.
Mm-hmm.
I understood what you said because I actually happen to be one of your pupils,
Yeah.
and I've learned from you. And she's wonderful, by the way.
Oh,
So you
thank you.
definitely, if you're interested or you think you're interested, you have questions, you definitely want to reach out to Grace. But all that being said, one of the reasons why I wanted to have you here today is because before I met you, I was on my own spiritual journey, I'll call it, but I was going for my own Reiki sessions. And then one day I just asked my practitioner, I said, how did you get started? Where did you start? And she gave me your name. She sent me to you.
Mm.
Now, there are ideas, in some way, misconceptions. There are some things floating out there, and then you have people who have no idea at all. So I'm going to ask you, what are some of the misunderstandings or misconceptions when it comes to Reiki, practicing, receiving treatment? What have you come across?
Yeah, that's such a great question. And there's several misconceptions that I notice out there. You know, one of the bigger ones is that Reiki is just sort of a woo-woo type of practice, that there's no effect, you know, when people receive Reiki, which I found the exact opposite to be true, that, you know, not only can people heal long-standing issues, but they can just feel better and de-stress. And I've seen some really great results, which we can talk about too. But, you know, so that's one common misconception, is that it's just sort of, I guess, like another word would be kind of airy-fairy, that there's no real grounding to what this is. But it is steeped in an older tradition, and at the time it was developed, there was a lot of healing modalities birthing in Japan at that time. And Reiki was just one of the, I think it was the only one that you didn't have to use your own energy to affect a change in somebody. Whereas the other types of modalities that were birthing around that time, you had to use your personal energy. So Reiki was unique in that way at that time, and I think has grown in popularity partly because of that. There's an easefulness to it. But, you know, there's a lot of other misconceptions too. One is that, you know, that your hands are not on somebody when you receive Reiki. And some Reiki practitioners actually do practice hands off or hovering. And depending on what state you're in and what regulations you have, sometimes you can't practice hands on. Here in Massachusetts currently, we can practice hands on, and I teach my students how to do that. We don't move the tissue around like in a massage. Our hands are static, but it is hands-on, which is a really beautiful thing because people really respond to touch and need to be touched. So that's another misconception. And I would say, I have two more. Is it okay if I keep going?
Oh, absolutely.
Right,
Please
awesome,
share,
awesome.
because this is all interesting. People need to, I want people to be familiar. I want them to have a better understanding of what it all means and how it could potentially help them.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So, you know, another one is that some people think that Reiki is a religious practice, and it is definitely not a religious practice. So anybody of any faith could theoretically practice Reiki. We're really just tapping into the universal energy that is around us all the time and also within us all the time. If anybody's ever been to like the Museum of Science, for example, you can, you know, there's those lightning balls that you could put your hands on and see how the static electricity attracts to your hands. It's very common knowledge that we are made of energy, but not a lot of people really connect it, that we're able to actually channel it through us. So anyway, but back to the misconception, it's not a religion, it's just a way of moving energy through our body to affect change in your body. And then the last one, that this is kind of more from a client side that I've noticed, is that a lot of people think that Reiki is psychic work or mediumship work. And I wanted to kind of dispel that myth too,
Okay.
because not every Reiki practitioner is psychic or is intuitive in that way or is a medium. And that's actually not the roots of Reiki. It's more just pure energy healing. And sometimes you'll have a gifted practitioner who has those skills, but it's not something to come to expect, in a session. What you really should expect is deep relaxation and restoration.
So, is it a way of prompting the body or helping the body more or less to help itself to, excuse me, help the body heal itself on its own, or give it a way to work more efficiently to actually heal itself? Is that one way, or is that one way to think about it or to look at it?
Yeah, that's such a great way to describe it, because we often say in Reiki that the energy has a wisdom of its own. So when I place my hands on somebody, Reiki flows where it needs to go. And then your body is the one that's bringing it back to homeostasis and back to balance. So yes, it is that process, which is really neat.
So who are your clients? Who are the people that come to see you for this type of care?
Yeah. So my clients are kind of pretty diverse. Everyone from a little 3-year-old I've been seeing recently to, someone in their 80s and 90s. But I would say that the biggest population in my work is probably women between 30s to 60s is the most common group that seem to be interested in Reiki. And it's often people that need to de-stress, number one. And a lot of times I attract people who are also highly sensitive people that may have a tough time maybe turning down the input in their daily life, and need to kind of come back into their body and ground and just feel like themselves, So empaths would be another word for that.
Right. If someone wanted to start, but they were, say, afraid, or, I'll just say afraid. You know what I mean? Because, information, I think, is power. Knowledge is power. And fear can stop you right in your tracks. So if someone was kind of interested but didn't know where to start, how would they begin?
Yeah, so I would, do a general search in your area to see if there's Reiki practitioners out there. Social media is a beautiful thing. You could look and see, Reiki in your particular neck of the woods. And I would say start to look for who you resonate with. Follow somebody for a little while, so that you can see, oh, I like their personality. I like the energy that they're giving off, because I think it is nice to find somebody that you can relate to and that you might feel comfortable with, almost like a friend, So you could look there and just to find somebody you can relate to, or maybe they have similar beliefs or values as you do. I always think that's a nice thing to look for. And definitely look for somebody who has a professional setting, an office, somewhere that you'll be going, where everything is really clear. You know how much time you're going to be spending there, how much it costs, all of those things. I always look for people who have a professional presence with Reiki. So I would start there and just know that, most sessions are only going to be about an hour of your time. So if it's a time fear, that's not much time at all. You can also do half an hour sessions with many practitioners as well. And many practitioners would be willing to, hop on a call with you to explain it, or email back and forth with you too, to just kind of allay some of those fears, I think. You'll find Reiki practitioners are often very friendly and open. So, yeah.
So when I started taking on clients to help heal with Reiki myself, I found that in talking to people, I found a couple of different situations of experiencing Reiki. For example, I had one person mention to me that she experienced Reiki when she was on a trip in Hawaii, and she hurt her ankle. And they happened to have someone in their group who kind of set her aside and obviously asked permission first, but then he started doing something with the ankle and you know, and actually, I'm sorry, it wasn't her, it was her mother. And at any rate, long and short of it, she could walk long enough to get back to a safe area, but it was one of those like, wait, what just happened? Like, what did you just do? And that was their only experience or interaction with Reiki. But it was this positive experience, like I've never seen such a thing. I didn't know this was possible. So I bring this to you to say, does that happen? Is that real? Is that a possibility? Like, you know, I mean, you know, and I don't want to make light of it because, again, I'm just trying to tap on a little bit of everything here so people get a full understanding of what it means to have someone do Reiki on them, for them, and, again, what are the reasons why someone would actually come to you or me for Reiki.
Yeah.
You know?
It's another super great question. And there's a couple layers to this. You know, one is, you know, we can't claim as Reiki practitioners that we can heal certain conditions, you know, just because we're not doctors or nurses. However, people that have experienced Reiki have healed a number of things. And so, you know, I even have testimonials on my website that my clients have told the public how Reiki has helped. So, you know, it's not uncommon, for example, for pain to be relieved with Reiki. I had a gentleman who was he was a naval commander, and he came and saw me for several treatments, and his blood pressure actually went down 10 points. He was very much about measuring everything. And so that was neat to see. And he said that it really helped him when he'd have to go on long flights. It gave him more endurance. So endurance, blood pressure, pain would be something people could come, injury. And really, Reiki was used for long-standing chronic issues as well originally. So, yeah.
I mean, we're not professing that Reiki will heal everything that everyone has. I don't think that's what we're trying to do here. But I think for me personally, it's about giving people options.
Yes. Yeah.
And knowing that, you know, the combination sometimes of Western with Eastern can be beneficial. It really is a matter of finding what works for you and your body and who you are as a person. But I think the overarching theme I'm also feeling is being true to yourself and what speaks to you.
Yeah.
You know, because I would say, for me, I've also, for example, done acupuncture. And I've always been drawn to acupuncture, and I've gone and found it beneficial in the past, but I've had people who might do acupuncture and say, oh, it's done nothing for me, it didn't work. So then my response would be, so acupuncture probably is not for you. So maybe try something different.
Yes.
You know, because it's understood that but that's normal, that's human.
Yeah.
But I think it doesn't hurt to have a little variety and be open to other possibilities. But again, it just felt to me like people needed to have a better understanding. I'm also feeling as though I've had one person even mention to me, well, you know, I want to work on my spirituality. I said, but understand, like, that isn't necessary for us to do this also. So please don't feel pressure. And if I've said anything to lead you to believe or to make you feel like, you know, you need to be, and that's not my intention. I take you as you are. You come in. If you need help, my goal is to help you. So for those who might be concerned, and I bring the religion in again, because I understand that there are going to be people who'll say that, this work is not of God. It's not, and again, my goal isn't to, that's a choice too. Like what you choose to practice, what your belief system is, that's your choice. It's not my job to try to persuade you in one way or the other. Right. So how do you handle the cases where you might have someone who's concerned that, it might negatively affect their belief system, whatever that belief system might be?
Yeah, these are all such great points. And I think that, kind of sinking into it, you just said so many good things. So I just want to back up for a second and think about this. One of the things is that, you don't actually need an open mind to receive Reiki and to receive benefits from Reiki. And the practitioner doesn't actually need to be in a perfect state of mind either. So there's a lot of, to use maybe a religious term, there's a lot of grace with Reiki, where it does flow through whether you believe it or not. And so that's kind of a nice piece. So just to kind of address that. And I think it's really beautiful how you said to that client that you don't need to be developing in this spiritual way to receive Reiki. You can just come as you are. What a gift. I just want to say that as well, that people, again, they don't need to be in a certain frame of mind to receive the effects of Reiki. Reiki comes through regardless. And again, it goes where it needs to go in the body to bring you back into balance. And so, yeah, I mean, if you are, super religious, maybe you have a fundamentalist background, you might not be open to Reiki, and that's okay too. It might not resonate with you. You might be too afraid in a way of it. I will say Reiki will still bless you from afar,
yes. I like it.
But you don't have to believe in it. But I would say we don't need to also impose onto Reiki that it is a religious thing, because it's absolutely not. So I feel like it's separating those pieces out. And again, to your point, finding what you resonate with first, because you're right. Some modalities are going to work awesome for you, not for me, and vice versa. And I think that's a complex thing. It might be what we knew as souls before and, how we're coming in now. And you don't have to be even super sensitive. I've had the biggest skeptics get the best results, which I think is hilarious. I don't know why that happens. But, so you can come in with a skeptical mind and still receive, so much benefit as well. So, yeah.
Okay, so for me, being one of your students, and, so my question is, why teach? Why did you start teaching, and who's your typical student?
Yeah. So I love teaching. Teaching's just comes so naturally to me. It's something that I enjoy very much. And for me, having healed things in myself through energy work, I really wanted to share that gift with others to be able to heal themselves. So, for example, I grew up with really bad asthma, needing a nebulizer every day. It slowly kind of went slightly away in high school, but I still needed inhalers. And when I discovered energy work, it actually healed needing inhalers for working out. So that was a huge benefit for me personally. Energy work really helped me when I burned out in my job. I used to run group homes for people with major mental health challenges, and healing work really restored my nervous system. So to me, it's like, I just want to share all this goodness with people so that they can then share it with their communities. Because you all will touch communities I will never get to reach. And that ripple effect is so important to me and so meaningful to me. It gives me a real sense of purpose and meaning that healing is rippling, you know, so.
So how long does it take to become a practitioner?
Yeah, so for my program, people can become a Reiki level 1 practitioner in about an 8-hour day. There's a 21-day integration period that we recommend people take before offering it out. But in one day you can get the level 1, and then we do a level 2 in another day, and then the master level in a third day. So usually people will space it out because it is a transformative experience for you as a person. You know, you often grow, you feel like you can follow your intuition more. There's a lot of change that happens. So, you know, sometimes people will space that out every few months or so to really let that land first. But it's not too hard to learn.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I speak to it myself. Like it's done wonders for me. I mean, as a practitioner, as someone who actually was a client on the table before I even got to that point, which is actually what prompted me to become a practitioner. But all that being said, I guess I think, did we hit all our points? Did we talk about all the goodness of
Yeah, I think we did. I think we went even deeper. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel so strongly about it, and again, I know the benefits for me personally, and I just I want you to have the same experience, or your own experience, not necessarily mine, but I would love you to have an experience that's helpful, healing, and beneficial to you. So how can people find you? If they want to start and they want to practice also, how can they contact you?
Yeah, so you can reach out to me at hello@flowersandstarsshop.com. That's our general email, and you can look at our website, flowersandstarsshop.com. That's probably the best way to reach me. And then you're welcome to join my Instagram community, either at Grace Harrington Murdoch or flowersandstars.shop, which is my space in Gloucester, Massachusetts. So yeah, people can find me there.
And at your shop, which is very cute, by the way, they need to know that you do other things too. So can you tell us a little bit about that before we let you go, before we let you go out there again? You know?
Absolutely. So I also teach advanced levels of polarity therapy. So that's about 155-hour training. I teach an online course in astrology that's almost a year long. And then we host fun presenters and workshops at the space too. So, you know, and sometimes it's, you know, different topics based on the season and what feels like it's lighting me up that year. So it's always changing and shifting. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's, for now, that's it. We're going to have the information either on the bottom of the screen or the top of the screen, but we're going to have it available for you so you can reach out to Grace or you can reach out to me if you have any questions. But whatever you need, we are here for you. It's always awesome to see you. It's always awesome to have you here. Again, we're here if you need us. We will see you next time. Grace, thank you so much for being with us today. This was a lot of fun, and this was very, very, very helpful. But at any rate, we will see you next time. And don't forget to do the workout. All right. See you soon. Bye.